Um, Let me just start by saying that I'm looking at uh, responsibility of the future of this world on the shoulders of this world. And why I say that is because I think all of us agree that we are seeing a huge change in the world. Agreed or not agreed? In nearly every part of the world, because we're sitting over here in the Kennedy School of Government, and I think governments all over the world are undergoing tremendous change. And if you see the history of politics, there have been eras. I'm sure you are students of politics and you would know better. But this era is really, in a way, going to be defining history for the world. And that's why when I look at you, I'm not just looking at you as people who are students, I'm looking at you as leaders who are capable of heading the world into a direction which it really needs at this particular juncture of history of the world. We have from the US to Pakistan transitions taking place, and we all know that those transitions, some are comfortable, some are not comfortable. Some places the transitions are smooth, some places the transitions are not taking place. So I'm just going to be talking to you about my experiences in politics, my experiences in business, and my experiences in being human. I'm a reluctant politician, and I'm an accidental politician. I never thought that I'd be a politician, and I never really planned to become a politician. What I planned to become was, yes, I wanted to study in my life, I wanted to do well as an individual, go ahead, make some great achievements in being a professional, and then have a family, and then, spend the rest of the life happily ever after. But in this journey, the start of my life, which means exactly the birth, was not particularly as I thought it should have been. So when I talk to my students, and I've been teaching in various universities back home also, and they ask me that what are the key lessons that you learned and what are the key lessons you'd like to share. So the first thing that I always say to my students is, be abnormal. My first lesson that I share with students is be abnormal. Because what happened was that when I was born, and this is a true story, and in Pakistan, those who know that the color of the skin matters quite a bit. So when I was born with a very ashen white color, and with almost very light-haired hair on my head. So immediately, and that's what my aunt tells me, that there was an uproar in the labor room, and the uproar was that she's an albino. And so there was this quiet silence in the labor room, and my aunt, who was with my mother taking care of the delivery, she was so horrified that she didn't tell my mother. And so what she did was that and I was already crying and screaming for coming into this uncomfortable world, she further made me uncomfortable. She took me up on the rooftop, right in the middle of the sunshine, prized open my eyes, and put torches in my eyes to discover whether I was an albino or not, because the color of the eyes defines it. And she says to her great satisfaction, she discovered that no. So she came down and she said that she's not abnormal. But I decided to remain abnormal. And so that's how it happened. My family consists of 4 sisters. We didn't have a brother. And my mother got married at the age of 15, so she was not very educated. So she decided that all the deprivation of her education is going to come out on her daughters. So all 4 of us, the day we were born, were tagged with what we are supposed to do. So I was number 2. My eldest sister, she was supposed to be a doctor, right? Then I was number 2. I was supposed to do civil service examination, which is to become a bureaucrat and a government servant. We call it CSS, Central Superior Service Exams in Pakistan. The one younger to me was supposed to be an economist, and the fourth and the last one was supposed to be a lawyer. And all of them became what they planned except me, because I was abnormal. So I have a sister who's one of the top consultants in UK, a gynecologist. I have a sister who's an economist, and I have a sister who's a lawyer. But I decided not to do that. And I still remember when I did my O-levels, after that my father took me into the room and he said to me, he said, you know, you don't want to give the civil service exam, you don't want to go and become a bureaucrat, but I tell you, all your life you will regret it, because if you don't have a family member in the government, you cannot function in Pakistan. So I said, well, I'm not going to be that family member. You either have to have a fifth child, or you have to convince one of your other daughters to do that. So that's how the journey started. And like I said, like she just mentioned, I've always been interested in making a difference. And my first job in Pakistan was again in a company known as Pakistan Engineering Company. And it had 5,000 engineers in it, and 4,999 were men. So I was the first one to join there as a woman, and everybody told me that if you're not an engineer and if you're not a man, you can not go ahead in it. I joined it, I was the only woman, and I also progressed over there. I became the export manager over there. So what I'm trying to say to you is that every time you try to conform to a certain pattern, that's not necessarily the best pattern, and that's not necessarily you. Because human beings are designed to be different. We're not robots. We have 7 billion people on this earth. We have 7 billion unique people on this earth. Because no two brains, they're identical twins, have different behaviors. And that is how it should be. But having said that, it doesn't mean that you go off the rocks. You still have to establish yourself. So that's what happened. I got married, I had children, so I could continue with my full-time job. And I started taking control of, one of my favorite things was take something which is nowhere and make a difference to it and bring it to a level. So I was given an assignment. There was a business school over there which was plundering and finishing. I was given a consulting assignment. They turned it around. And that was the first business school in Pakistan where we had an affiliation with an American university, and we turned it around. And that's how I became a consultant. And then building institutions became a passion for me. I joined as a freelance consultant with the World Bank. Then I did a lot of consulting with Asian Development Bank, so many other. But while I was doing these consulting assignments in Pakistan, I found out that I was not making a difference. I could write these fancy reports, but I could see that all the money that was going out from Pakistan into paying off my consulting fee and the consulting fee of those heavy, consultants was not really making a difference in the education and the social sector and all those things that we were talking about. So deep down somewhere, there's a funny feeling inside you. When there's a funny feeling inside you, there is an unease inside you, listen to it. It teaches you to be abnormal, but listen to it. Listen to that funny feeling. And I listened to it. And I said, okay, that was the time when I read a book. And that book was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that's a very famous book. And normally, because it's so famous, we just dismiss it. Everybody's read it, everybody's seen it, so we say, okay, forget it. And I started by that time teaching and training as well. And I remember in a training program, one of my trainees asked me, okay, what is the 5th habit in the 7 habits? And I had not read the book, and I was like, oh. And so I said, I better read the book because, I'm caught sort of unaware about it. So when I read the book, I read it very skeptically because I was very skeptical about the shortcuts, 5 ways of losing weight and 7 ways of becoming a billionaire and 15 ways of... So I said, okay, 7 habits also. But it had an impact. And what affected me most was its focus on inside out. That focus changed my life. How to be inside out rather than outside in. Because the outer voices are so strong, coming from your parents, coming from your culture, coming from your society, coming from the media, and they pull you into directions which may not be the direction you want to be pulled in really inside. So it was this conflict inside me which made me do that. And then I attended a program, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and when I was on the second habit, which is basically begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end. And you have to write a personal vision of your life. And I wrote the personal vision of my life at that time. And then I said, okay, if it has made so much difference in my life, I want this difference to be extended to other people also. And I started writing to US, sitting in Pakistan, that I want a franchise of Franklin Covey in Pakistan. And you know, with due respects to all of you over here, the perception of Pakistan is not really what Pakistan is. So, you know, they wrote to me, oh, really, 7 Habits of Franklin Covey International Franchise in Pakistan. Do people really read books over there? Are people really aware of these things? Is there a market for it? You know, the image of some camels trudging along in streets. It took me 1.5 years to convince them. And then there was you know, I recall it with great humor and also with great pride. They put me on a test. And they said, okay, you really want this franchise. So Stephen Covey, who's the author of this whole thing, is coming to India, Mumbai and Delhi, and you take a video link on it. And if the video link in Pakistan generates interest up to a level, then we'll say that Pakistan is an attractive country. So I said, fine. Now, I'm talking about 10 years ago, so video links were not all that great. And he was supposed to come on in Delhi, and then Mumbai, and I took the video link from Delhi. And I did a whole marketing for it and generated interest in it. And about 10 days before the video link was on, and he was supposed to come and do all this fantastic talking against in 2 or 3 countries, Mr. George Bush decided to visit the 2 countries. And I was told that no video links can be operable between the 2 countries because they are security risks. So it's off. And when they told me it's off, I said, there's no way. So I'll tell you the second part of being abnormal. You can be abnormal and go against the norms, but one characteristic which for me is more important, which I share with my students, with everybody around the world, is more important to have to succeed in life, to succeed in, especially in politics. It's not intelligence, and it's not skills, and it's not knowledge, it's grit. Grit. The ability to hang on when everybody's pulling you off. The ability to be tenacious when the wind is blowing away from you. So I just told them, I said, there's no way, because if I, with all this, you know, marketing, say no, then I'm finished. Because they wouldn't believe that this has happened, that Mr. George Bush has decided to come over here, and that's why the security risk is there. So after Delhi, he was supposed to go to Colombo in Sri Lanka. So I said, I'll pick it up from Sri Lanka 2 days later. They said, fine. Now, Sri Lanka didn't have the satellite system. So we discovered that we are going to take a video link via Dubai to Pakistan. So we made a whole bridge of it, and I'm a totally illiterate person in technology, but I still, you know, managed with a lot of young people to devise a system which we could take the video link from. And lo and behold, the day came. And we have packed houses in Lahore and Karachi and Stephen Covey, and people can't believe that they're looking at it, and I'm feeling on top of the world. And we discover that the video link is broken. And I thought for a moment that obviously either the US embassy or somebody has discovered, or they're not happy with us. Because we had changed the location of the hotel. It was Marriott Hotel, and the Marriott Hotel was with US consulate. But we had kept the dish on the side. And you remember those big dishes on those times? There used to be these big dishes. So I went running up to see what had happened. And there was a waiter who had casually walked upstairs, become lazy, and he put the dish on his head and started sleeping over there. So he just slept over there, covering his head, and here I was, and I'm going to be caught. I've done a security breach. I know what I've done. So we put it back up there. It was back there, and that's how I brought Franklin Covey to Pakistan. So I always say that, the stories may be small, but the lessons they teach you are big. And that is the lesson that was taught to me. Grit. Hang on. Don't give up. I always love that thing that it's like life is like a boxing match. You can be knocked down, and you will be knocked down. There is never going to be a life where there are no setbacks. But you're never out of the match till you're knocked out. So you get up back again, brush up, dust off, roll your sleeves, and start punching it back. And that's the spirit that you need to have. It's a country where, when I used to tell my daughter that, there was no load shedding of 16 hours, and there were no bomb blasts, and we could just roam around everywhere. She would just smile at me, and she would say, "No, you're just trying to sell the country to me." She couldn't imagine a country like that. But it was true. But in that time, most of us had kept quiet because things were getting out of hand. Politics was like, leprosy to us. We didn't want to touch politics. It was for the bad people, and politics was dirty, it was filthy, and we didn't want to have anything to do with politics. So we were the clean people. We were the people who were nice and honest and going with our lives, with our children, with World Bank, with Franklin Covey, and that's it. While 99% of the people in Pakistan were suffering because of our silence at the time we should have spoken up. So I realized that if I want my daughter and so many daughters in Pakistan to come back, I have to leave the comfort of my life and become dirty. I have to become abnormal again. And that's the time in 2008 I decided to join politics. And again, everybody told me it's madness. Pakistani politics is crazy. There is corruption. There is mismanagement. There is no systems, murdering for politics, killing for politics, shooting your own brother and sister for politics. It's dynastic politics over there, and that's common. If you want to endanger your life, if you want to step into a hell, you go to politics. But I said that if different people don't come into politics, how will we make a difference in politics? If the same people keep on coming into politics, it'll be the same. So I looked around, there were 3 parties in Pakistan, 2 parties in Pakistan, like everywhere else in the world. Democracies have 2 dominant parties, and then there are minor parties with them. So we had the Pakistan Muslim League, and we had the Pakistan People's Party, like you have the Democrats and the Republicans, and for the last 40 years they've been taking turns and coming in and out with interspersement of some military rules in between also. But it's a revolving door government. One goes out, the other comes in. One goes out, the other comes in. And because they had framed a duopoly of politics, there was nobody to challenge. It was always a choice between the lesser evil, who was less bad, right? So I looked around, I said, whom to join? And then I found out that there was this gentleman who's also not a politician, Mr. Imran Khan. He was a cricketer and never been into politics. And he decided to set up a party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, which is literally the movement, a party for movement for justice. It means movement for justice. That's what it is. And he was talking about change, and he'd been over there for 13 years, literally, and nobody was listening to him. And when I joined the party, it was the worst time for the party. In fact, people had said that, you know how the third parties are, they're a nuisance group, but they never really make it. They're a pressure group, but they become big. So it was a nuisance group. It had finished with its nuisance reserves also and gone out because in 2008 it did not participate in the elections. And as you know in politics, when parties do not participate in elections, they die. They just become like a civil society group. Because in politics, if you're not in the electoral system, you're not in politics. So I went to meet him and I give the story again and again that I thought it was a party and there'll be an office and there'll be a bus over there and there'll be people coming in and out, and I enter this office in Islamabad and I enter a room and there's hardly anybody, and I enter another room, there's nobody, I enter another room, I go to the kitchen, there's nobody, I go upstairs, there's nobody, and then I ask, where's the chairman? They say he's sunbathing. And I meet him, and if you meet Mr. Imran Khan now, you can't even meet him, he's so busy. You have to wait for months to meet him. And he was there, you know, sitting like this, sunbathing, and I said, hello. I thought this was the party office. He said, this is. So I said, where is the party? He said, welcome. You want to make the party? Join me. And that's how I started. I remembered my days when I, turned around institutions. And this was it. If I wanted to make a difference, this was it. And from that time to now, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, the party that I joined at that time, which was nowhere, is, if not the largest, the second largest party in Pakistan. And I also say I'm not a student of politics, and I may be wrong. I haven't done any research on it, but we're about to make history in the democratic world. How? I don't think so in UK and US a third party has come up and destaged either one of the parties and taken the stage over in politics. We've destaged party number 2 and we're on the verge of destaging party number 1. Never in the democratic history, I don't remember, you people can correct me on that, has that happened. Not in America, not in UK, not in India, not in Bangladesh, not anywhere else. And so, politics is dirty. People ask me, is it like House of Cards? Is it like Scandal? Is it like Primary Colors? I say, no, it's not like that at all. It is Primary Colors, House of Cards, Scandal multiplied by a zillion. It's not dirty, it's filthy. It's not mad, it's crazy. And that's the test. That is the test. Because you see, when I went into politics, and I want to talk to you about it, because this is a time when you see in America politics becoming uncertain. And I think that, yes, you have to be pragmatic. We in Pakistan say, they ask us very clearly, are you an electable or are you an ideologue? Right? So the electable is the traditional politician. The ideologue is the guy who has an ideology, and he's a nice guy, but he will never make it in politics. Right? So they look at me, when I came into politics, and I started talking to my party about, what should be and how should we create a difference. And I said at the end of the day, what is the purpose of politics? The purpose of politics is to serve the people of the country. And if we are not serving the people of the country, we have no business in politics. So we started talking about health and education and welfare. And the minute I used welfare, the traditional politicians, who are 99% in my party as well, they said to me, what do you want to do? I said, I want to work for this cause. They said, your language is not correct. I said, why? They said, because this is the NGO language. You want to do social causes? Go back to NGOs. Politics, causes don't matter. Yes, we talk about it because that's the political language we have to use, but we have to play politics. So that's how I started. And all the leaders that I've been, sort of inspired by, and by the way, my political role model is Dr. Martin Luther King. I've studied him, the civil rights movement in the 60s. Was a great time. I think we have never produced people like that in the last 50 years as we produced in that era. And whether it's Nelson Mandela or somebody else, they were the people fighting that politics has to be more than the process. It has to be about the purpose, about the higher purpose. And at this moment, all surveys in the world tell you that trust level in governments and trust level in politics is all-time low. And when you talk about trust, how does trust come in? Trust is a component of two factors: character and competence. Neither with alone character can you fully make people trust you, neither with alone competence can you make fully trust you. And somehow, when we go around politics in the world, we find people very competent but dodgy. And we find people very straight but not skillful, not competent enough. This is a rare combination. So, coming over here, my second, thing that I discuss with people is that when you're talking about coming into politics, or you're talking about going into any purpose of your life, one is, of course, like I said, don't be ashamed of being abnormal, so be abnormal. The second is, be romantic. You have to be in love with what you do. It has to be more than mechanical. You have to be dreaming and believing those dreams. And no matter what anybody says about you, you have to have that internal validation. Once you have that internal conviction, validation, and you have that passion, it can all come true, but it will take time, based on the grit that you have. So, when I, the whole day long, sit amongst people who tell me that how I'll never make it. At the moment in my party, I refuse to take a position. Because in politics, it's all about power and position. So I decided that that's not going to hinder me. Because, if you have a leadership based on position, what's the big deal? That anybody will have. And when the position goes, leadership goes as well. So what the Nelson Mandela model is, or the Martin Luther King model is that the formal authority is okay, but it's the moral authority which makes you last beyond your position, beyond your title, beyond your designation, and beyond your life also. So that's what I'm talking about. And there are little things, and sometimes, it's very difficult for me because I'm like a fish out of the pond. Politics doesn't come naturally to me. So, but the fact that I've hung on and I have reached this stage where I'm probably more influential in my party than probably the top man in the party is because I believed in what I've done and I've delivered. So when I'm very, obviously thinking about that wonderful life that I once upon a time had, the comfort level of that, and I'm thinking about what happens to me, because I'm going to relate an incident to what happened to me on the 1st of November. Politics in Pakistan is difficult and complex. So we as an opposition party are carrying out a movement. Panama Leaks? It has exposed corruption of leaders all over the world. And our leader, our Prime Minister, has been named in Panama Leaks also. And we are fighting a case. And in Pakistan, you must understand, institutions don't work. We have a saying, we've gone to the Supreme Court also, but we have a saying in Pakistan that if you want to win the case, don't hire a lawyer, hire a judge. So everything is for sale. So in that respect, what are we asking? We are asking our Prime Minister that, okay, there are assets abroad, fine, there are assets, just tell us where the money came from. And once you give us the money trail, we're fine with you. And for the last 8 months, we've been on streets because all institutions are because that's what happens. When you have a corrupt person over there, then the institutions also become corrupt. And then you go to the institutions to give you justice, and you don't get it. So the big power in democracy, which we have resorted to, and that's the ultimate power, is the people of the country. So every time we are defeated in institutions, we go out in the country and we seek justice. So that's what happened, that I went with my party on the 1st of November. In fact, I was going to meet my chairman to join a protest against this. And I was stopped by the police over there. And I said, I'm going on a private road, I'm just going to meet my chairman. So they said, no, you can't go. And there was shelling, and there was gas, and there were people, fainting over there. And then there were people with the guns over there. And one of them said, stop, you can't go over there. And I said, why can't I go over there? I'm just asking for something which is basic. So he said, if you don't stop, we'll open fire. I said, you will open fire? He said, yes. I said, go ahead and do it. And he did. Now that, obviously I'm here, so I was not killed. But what happened was that after that incident, and they round me up and they arrested me, and I talked to lawyers and I talked to my party people, and I said, look what's happened, we have to take this case up. And they said, forget about it. Nobody's going to help because no institutions work, you're going to waste your time, and you're going to waste your money, and nothing's going to come out of it. And I said, if I'm one of the most prominent faces and voices in my country, and I can't do anything about it, imagine the 99% women, children, girls, to whom this is happening day in, day out, and they can't do anything about it. I'm going to do something about it. And that's why I'm carrying out a rights awareness movement in Pakistan, where I feel that I'm going to do what has been done in this country also. I find this very odd, and to share it with you, that in America people are not even educated many times, but they know their rights. And I've been told about that 5-year-old who knows the First Amendment, who rings up and says, okay, I'm being abused at home, please come and save me. So, but in Pakistan it's so strange that even people like me who are educated, we don't know our rights. So I'm going to carry out that movement over there, because you see, at the end of the day, Pakistan is an amazing country. It's the same country where every year we produce the youngest Microsoft certified professional. We have an 8-year-old who's the youngest in the world. We break records every year. We have a girl by the name of Samina Beg who has conquered Everest. She's 22-year-old, living in a village, done what the most capable mountaineers have never done. We have the 5th largest pool of scientists and engineers in the world produced by Pakistan. And we have a population of 200 million people, 60% of them are under 30. Now you can take that as an opportunity, or you can take that as a threat. Right? So here we are. I'm on the brink of a transition, and I'm very confident that we are going to make a government accountable, bring a change in Pakistan, and bring it back to the time Pakistan used to be one of the top countries in the world.